Welcome to this tutorial where I am going to show you how to take the current astrology and apply it to your own personal chart. This is just a little snippet, a little taste of kind of what I'm teaching in my Your First Astrology chart, Your First Astrology course. Link for that will be in the description box below. But the reason why I want to get this out there is because this January, the astrology is so big and there's so much going on that if I were to take the time that I want to go into each sign and what the astrology is bringing forth this month, it would take me way too long and I wouldn't have time to do any of the other videos that I want to do for you. So rather than doing that, I'm going to use this video as a little tutorial to teach you how to take the concepts from the general forecast and apply it to your own chart. So first things first, I'm Sarah at Life with Training Wheels, where I utilize astrology, tarot, other spiritual health and wellness tools to help you take control back over your life, to realize that you are in the driver's seat, that you have more control than you think you do, and to help release any victim mentality and live from a place of love, and to recognize that life is always happening for you, not to you. One of my favorite quotes is, "Wherever you go, there you are." And whether your life is going good or bad, it's time to take a look in the mirror and see what you're doing to help create that, as well as to just be able to look at the world and see that everything has a silver lining. Everything has a lesson. Everything can be used to empower yourself and to grow, whether that's in your health, in your emotional intelligence, or spiritually, whatever. We can use what is happening in our lives and use our emotions as those guidance systems to take control of our life. And we can also use astrology to do that too, both on like an emotional and spiritual level as well as a timing level. But anyway, that is a little bit about me. There's more links in the description box below. And let's just kind of get into this tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to go through this a couple different ways, show you how you can do this. So there is a link in the description box below for how to pull up your birth chart on astro.com. If you haven't done that, I've already logged in, so you can see right here it shows my astro. So if you were not logged in, that would say log in. So then we're going to go over here to chart and calculations, and then down to extended chart selection. So you want to do your and this will show horoscope 4, so you want to make sure you have you selected. If you've put in your family members and stuff like that, make sure you're looking at your chart. And then natal chart wheel, web default style. This date is going to be utilized later. I'll show you how that makes a difference. And then I like to select whole signs. I am a Western tropical zodiac astrologer utilizing the whole sign system, so that is what I use. And then I'm going to show you that if you just from here hit show the chart, like my chart doesn't show a whole lot of conversations between the planets going on. It just shows this very tight sextile between Pluto and Neptune here. But if we go back to the chart selection, scroll down, and I believe I talk about this in the how to pull up your natal chart as well. I like to select aspects to all objects and only major aspects. And then you scroll down or scroll back up, show the chart, So then you'll see that my birth chart now has more conversations going on in it. You can see my grand fixed cross, etc. But so anyway, so it's a good idea to have this printed out. If you are into astrology, keep it somewhere where you can access it. But so I'm going to go through two different ways of looking at the transits. The first way is just to take, like if you're listening to a full month overview or something like that, and just kind of want to take the general concepts of what's going on that month and apply it to your chart and see what's going to be active for you, then all you need is your printed chart. You don't need anything else. So, for example, if you've listened to the January forecast, you know that we are having a lot of activation going on in the sign of Capricorn and Aquarius. Capricorn is where we are starting off the month, January 1st, with a stellium, a very rare stellium of personal planets in Capricorn, and then later in the month that stellium will move into Aquarius. And while it's in Capricorn, we're having 4 conjunctions between the planets, and then as they move into Aquarius, there's going to be 6 more conjunctions. A lot of months there's only 1 conjunction between each between planets. So the fact that we have a month where there are 10 conjunctions, it's a month of major activation. So what you would want to do is find your birth chart and then look to see where the Capricorn, that's this symbol, energy is, what house that falls in for you, as well as Aquarius and what house that falls in for you. And these are going to be the 2 major houses where you are going to be having a lot of activity going on, a lot of new starts. Conjunctions represent new starts, new beginnings, new cycles being born between the planets, right? It's kind of like a new moon, but instead of between the sun and the moon, it's between whatever planets are conjoining. So then from there, once you know what houses are being activated for you, you can kind of tell the story of the month from there. So like for me, Capricorn is in my 12th house and Aquarius is in my 1st house. So 12th house. And if you're not familiar with what these houses mean, you can sign up for my newsletter in the description box below, and you'll get a free little cheat sheet for what all these glyphs mean, what the planets themselves mean, what the signs mean, and what the houses mean. So I'll show you that here. So this is what you'd get when you sign up for my newsletter. So you get what the planets mean. So you could utilize like when the sun and Mercury meet up this month, right? So then you can look here. Well, the sun is self, ego, conscious awareness, life force, and Mercury is communication, intellect, learning, travel. So it's like a combination and a rebirth of these energies. So like the sun, and the sun always shines its light on whatever it's touching, right? So you're going to have better communication, intellect, learning, perhaps new opportunities and travel that you didn't have before. So that's on the first page. And then little descriptions of what each zodiac sign means. And then beyond that, to get kind of where things are going, what houses the astrology is affecting for you each month. This last page talks about what each house means. So like 12th house is spirituality, solitude, and subconscious. So, like I've been having very vivid dreams lately, things like that. And then 1st house, identity and first impressions. And these are just general descriptions, right? So these these houses have a lot more meanings than this, but So looking back to my chart here, knowing that the majority of the energy is going to be in 12th and 1st house, you know that my storyline this month is starting in the 12th house, which I've been feeling very tired lately as well. 12th house is, our dreams and our rest. Like it's literally on the axis of health and like rest. So I have been having very vivid dreams. I have been wanting to just rest more. My energy has been depleted with all these personal planets there, which can happen. It is the unseen parts of life. So I am kind of working on building things for like this YouTube channel and the other YouTube channels that I have. Kind of behind the scenes, and just kind of taking time to sit in and tune in with myself on where I want to take this, what my goals and visions are, where I want to take, how I want to do my planning. And that is one of the realizations that I've had, right, is that I'm not sure. I want to continue to do the monthly forecasts collectively and the new moon and full moon, but I'm not sure that my energy is best spent doing the collective or doing the by sign forecast, because I really want to take more of a teacher role. And just dive into how amazing astrology is. And if I'm doing all those videos by sign, I won't have time to do those other aspects of astrology that I really want to get into. So, there's some unseen parts of life there. Spiritual enlightenment. I've also been very much deep diving into all sorts of topics of religion and looking at the ancient texts and stuff like that. Like that's a very heavy focus on my mind. And so with all of these conjunctions happening here, like I can expect that seeds are being planted in all of these different areas that I just talked about, of new growth for me. Like the sun is conjoining all the other personal planets. The personal planets, Mars and Venus, are meeting up with each other. So you can take the concepts that we talk about in what is going on in Capricorn in the collective reading and apply that to whatever house it's in. So, putting the hard work into my spirituality practice and making sure that I'm making time for that, making time for meditation again. That's a very 12th house thing. I've gotten away from meditating. And then, so that is kind of, the energy flows and builds too. So then that's moving into then my first house, which first house is all about self-identity, right? It's the mask you wear, but really it's your base personality. It's who you came into this world being. And then the sun is whatever the sign your sun is. That's who you are becoming, who you're learning to be, but you're kind of who people see you as and whatever. And your base personality is this first house. And that's where your ascendant lies as well. And what the majority of what your house system is based on. Like where the first house is where your ascendant is, which sets up the entire house system. So yeah, it is who you are, but not in the sense of who your sun sign is. It's who you are at your base. So when there's a lot of activity in your first house, you are basically getting an overhaul to your entire being. So then later in the month, with all of the planets moving into Aquarius and making the majority of the conjunctions to Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, in my first house, basically I'll be getting a complete rewiring, we really doing the deep work of weeding out all the stuff that is no longer serving me, starting all sorts of new cycles in basically every aspect of my life. But that is very exciting. So that is how the energy is kind of flowing for me But then if you look to your chart and say Capricorn and Aquarius were in like the 5th and 6th house, then the first half of the month would be, you could come over to this worksheet, and the 5th house, you'd be getting an upgrade, and planting new seeds in your 5th house of creativity, romance, joy. This also represents children, your inner child, your hobbies. Like it's the house where you really want to have fun. So you're building the energy, planting new seeds there, and then it'll move into the 6th house. The energy will move into the 6th house where you're it's your health habits, your daily routine, things like that. So you'll be able to figure out, okay, how do I want to engage in more of these things, more of my joy. Now, how do I integrate that into my daily habits so I can really keep building on this energy? So that's kind of how you would look to that. So then you just keep going from there. Like we know that Jupiter, that all these personal planets are going to be squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And then they are going to be having a lot of sextiles and conversations with all the planets and the North Node that's currently in Pisces. And then as well as making squares to Chiron and Aries. So we know that all of that these houses are being focused on as well. So again, you could utilize this worksheet to kind of see what is going on for you in terms of what's being asked to be balanced, where the challenge points are. Then if you want to take a more detailed approach to see if any of the current transits are interacting with any of your planets specifically, you could scroll up here and see there's this go back to the chart selection or with transits, and this is where that date on the first page would matter, but you would hit with transits, and then so you'll see it adds right here transits as of January 4th 2026. So then your birth chart is here in the middle, and then the current transits are on the outside. So you could print this out or just look at this either on a daily basis or just at the beginning of the month, and look to see where the planets are, where they're going to be, and how they might be interacting with you. Or you could check on a particular day if you're feeling if you feel like you're feeling the energy really heavily or something like that, then you could come here, add the transits onto your chart and see if they are sitting on top of any of your planets or opposing any of your planets or anything like that. I don't really have any examples right here other than that, like all these planets in Capricorn are making sextiles, which is 2 signs away to all the planets in my career. So that's kind of why I said, all this energy in the behind the scenes type work is a lot related to planning my career, figuring out what I want to do, what I want to offer. There's a lot of behind the scenes work going on to support that and to make sure that I have energy to do the things that I want to do and things of that nature. So that is really what I wanted to go over. I hope that you find that helpful. If you have any additional questions or want me to go through anything more in particular, certainly comment below. I will, I do have that Your First Astrology course going on as well, where I will be going into more depth on what the planets, the signs, the houses mean, looking at your top 3 and then how to put it all together. But this should give you a good guide of how to take general astrology readings, the collective readings, and apply it to your own personal chart. So comment below if you found this helpful, and I look forward to seeing you here in my next video.